And one of the reasons why I think I found you early on was because of election integrity. I want to talk a little bit about Florida 23. You went and covered that pretty closely. I seem to recall. Was it the primary that you covered, or was it in the general? Was it the Debbie?
Which one?
It was the Debbie Wasserman Schultz one, right?
Oh, yes, yes,
Versus
yes.
and
Yes.
that was versus
Tim
Jen.
Canova.
Oh, it was Tim Canova. You covered the Tim Canova one in
Well,
2018.
the Tim Canova one, Nico covered more extensively in 20, I think that was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then we covered it a few the next one, I think, where it was Jen Perlman running
Mm-hmm.
against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We've definitely worked with Tim Canova for a while though. But yeah, that one, I mean, we literally went to her district and we were looking at what was going on and how Debbie pretty much controls everything. It's so hard to get anything out of there. And of
And
course, we are no longer close to Jen Perlman as an understatement of the year. But
and
I mean, that election was completely, unfair. I mean, it's a gang. They operate like gangs. Like they don't allow third parties in, and they are not going to allow third parties in. And so that's just the way it is, especially in a state where, you, like Florida, where it's just a closed primary
well, your
situation.
coverage honestly was so eye-opening to me on this because one of the things that I saw and was people forget all of this that they had one of the voting things was in a gated community. You guys had to go through a gate and
Yeah.
show ID. So even though there was no quote unquote voter ID, just to get to the thing, you actually had to show ID to begin with. So that was one of the big things that was completely, kind of poll taxi and totally illegal. I remember you guys actually ran into Debbie in one of the things, and she recognized Pasta with the hat. And then the other thing was something about chain of custody. I don't remember if that was in Florida or Johnny was following somebody with ballot boxes, and the dude just puts it in his trunk. Nobody's around. There's
Yeah.
nothing signed off on, and I'm like, how the hell is this going on? You guys, nobody else was covering that kind of stuff. Okay, and
Yeah.
and
That was in Florida and California, both, where yeah, there's
some
no
of us
chain of
know,
custody, like, in at all.
how Johnny went out and he's standing out there for the county commissioner stuff for, I think it was California 62. Again, I've watched a lot of your content, obviously. And share it with everybody. And everybody should. By the way, if you're not subbed to the Convo Couch, if you're not following Fiorella, all her links, everything is in the doobly-doos, in the descriptions. Definitely sub, follow, share, amplify the hell out of her stuff. RT is getting suppressed. I went to search, for example, RT.com on Twitter. They do have a Twitter account at RT_COM. Actually, Fiorella has it
Yeah.
pinned on her Twitter bio. But if you search it, it does not show up at all in searches ever. You have to literally go to the link or type it in to get to that page. I mean, and that's the kind of suppression. That's just a tiny little thing that they're doing. But you are no stranger to suppression. We've seen what the Convo Couch has gone through effectively since January 6th, 2021, right? It was just weeks after that you guys got demonetized on YouTube, right?
Yeah, yeah. We got demonetized for talking about elections. And also so many videos taken down because of COVID, so many strikes, like because of COVID. It was elections and COVID that really did it for us. Obviously, there was a few videos that were on imperialism and that were constantly, we were pretty much not relying on any sort of advertising because all of our videos would be like essentially demonetized to some degree, if not fully. But
Right.
we were still using the super chats that really helped us out a lot. And then when YouTube really demonetized us completely, they were taking away the mechanism for people to support us in the easiest way, because it's so easy when people are watching YouTube to be like, oh, let me send a super chat, blah, blah, blah. And it's just what people knew how to do. And they took that away. And so that's really what really did a huge dent on us, took like over a third of our income, um, because it was just, they just decided that we were, pushing conspiracy theories. And obviously now where we're at, they've admitted that they've meddled in the election. We're talking about when we were looking at the Hunter Biden laptop story. I just did a video on that, and all of the things that went into manipulating, at the very least, the perception of the 2020 election. And so, we're just, more people now are talking about this because we're coming into the midterms, and then we're coming into the presidential election in 2024. So more people are talking about this now. But in that moment, we were persona non grata. I mean, we were like not allowed. We were what we were told. We were completely, even by like journalists who like you think would should know better. No, we were like told we were conspiratorial, and that was a precursor to COVID. Because after that, that was just, after Russiagate, it was that, and then it was COVID. So it was all these things combined, and not to toot our own horn, but we did end up on the right side of all of these issues, um, among some of the first people to do it. And it's because we see this pattern that keeps reoccurring, right? We see that it's part of the empire, and the empire uses the same type of mechanisms to really get people to manufacture consent for war, manufacture consent for the surveillance state to expand, etc. So when we were there on January 6th, we couldn't even post any videos. They had like completely shut down the internet, made it impossible. And even when we tried to post it, they would say it was misinformation, even though it was literally like footage on the ground. And then, of course, the worst thing that happened was the FBI took our footage and used it in a case against the death of a police officer. And then CNN, MSNBC, all of these networks took it in TYT, used our footage, didn't give us credit.
Right.
And basically, we're still trying to get some money out of them, but they use the mechanism that the FBI used it in a report, so therefore it was fair use. But if we try to use their stuff, forget it. Like it's just completely unfair.